Hello, my name is Dawn Fisk. I am the coach and trainer at Milestone Training and Coaching Company. I just thought I'd just talk briefly for a few minutes about the problem in the construction industry that we currently have in terms of mental health. Suicide at the moment is taking two construction workers' lives per day in the UK. In fact, suicide is the biggest overall cause of death in construction industry as we speak. Male site workers are found to be 3 times more likely to commit suicide than the average male in the UK at the moment. So that this is a genuine problem that needs addressing. Things are improving, things are changing. There are charities out there and support within the industry now that, and people are definitely having this conversation more. Organizations are addressing it. They are having open talks about mental health in their construction teams. Some are putting mental first aid workers in place for support and a network for people to turn to, but it's not happening everywhere. And it's not filtering out everywhere, and individuals may not necessarily yet feel comfortable with it. Just yesterday, I was working one-to-one with a construction site manager. He came in here for private one-to-one coaching, which is a service that I offer. And he came in not certain as to what to expect. He didn't know how I worked, who I was, anything really. He came in good faith with an open mind, but heavy shoulders. He looked stressed, he looked haggard, he looked frowning, very serious face, very worn down. We worked together for about an hour and a half, and he told me all about his anxiety, what he's been struggling with, how that anxiety has been worsening, increasing more and more each day, how on Sundays he now begins to dread work on a Monday morning because that's when he has meetings with his senior bosses and his MD. And that is the scenario that he gets most stressed by, most anxious about. It's not with his team. He does a really cracking job with his team. He feels very comfortable there. He feels very comfortable in life outside of work, socially and with his family. It's work and with his senior guys around him. But this problem is worsening, and it's making him struggle. He's getting extremely stressed. He's getting physiological effects of stress, heart racing, sweating, nervousness, to the point where it is properly physically affecting him and his behavior, because he does his utmost to avoid those scenarios. And of course, that isn't going to help his work. That's not going to be great long term, and it cannot carry on like that. So he hit a point where he decided he was going to do something about this, researched, made contact, and came in yesterday to start the work. We worked together for about an hour and a half. He told me everything, all the symptoms, what happens, what the triggers are, how it makes him feel, what the end point is. And we together covered an hour and a half of tips, techniques. He now understands all about those triggers. He understands what strategies he can now take. The work doesn't happen here in my office. It works back out there in the real world when he is back on site. He's now going to apply for the next 10 days all of the techniques that we covered yesterday. He's going to keep a record of his progress. He's going to work out what works for him, what's helped. He's going to work out what yet isn't helping and how we can tweak that. So in 10 days' time, we will be working together again. We will build on his successes, his progress, and bit by bit, in the next few weeks, he will learn to combat this and banish his anxiety. I myself used to struggle from anxiety following post-traumatic stress syndrome, or the effects of it when I was very critically ill. The byproduct of that was I got extreme anxiety about becoming ill again, and would I survive the next time if I had relapsed, etc. So I know what it feels like. I recognize the signs, and I know firsthand that we can overcome this. It doesn't have to be our reality. We don't have to struggle with the low-level depression and the effects of anxiety. There's a lot that we can do to overcome it. He had taken the bold step and plucked up courage to talk to his wife recently about it. But other than that, he had talked to nobody else. He hadn't talked to colleagues at work or people on site. He hadn't divulged how he was feeling in his struggles. In fact, he actually said in his own words, no one else would know that I'm going through this. You wouldn't know it by looking at me necessarily. So really, I'm just saying this today to, if this resonates with you and you feel this is me, this is how I'm feeling, just be reassured in the same way that he was, that you are not alone. As I explained to him yesterday, so many of my clients are managers, senior guys who are sitting around a boardroom table are going through this angst. They might keep their eyes down. They might appear to be writing notes in their notebook. It's in fact a strategy they're using to avoid getting drawn into that conversation because of the nerves that they're going through. For example, this is one area that we could be struggling from. There are many others. But as I said to him yesterday, you won't be the only one in your team. There will be others that are privately suffering the same. And yet we don't talk about it. And that's half the battle. Being strong enough and courageous enough to talk about it, you're halfway there. Then it's a case of finding ways where you can overcome it, finding techniques. So if this is something you would like to do, then I have put on the screen there's my contact details. Do feel free to drop me a line or visit the website and see what's on offer there, or make a phone call and talk to me with no obligation at all. Have a chat about how I might be able to help you. If you're not local to Hampshire and are unable to come to the office here and do one-to-one coaching, that's absolutely fine. We can do coaching via Skype, FaceTime, preferably Zoom, as I am now. There's all sorts of technologies that we can use, or even the phone, in fact, that can be equally as powerful. If you are an organization, you're a senior guy there or in HR, and you're thinking this would be useful for you and would like a presentation or a talk by me, which I do a lot of, this is the key slide to a beginning of a talk that I presented both at NATA, for example, JCB Green Shields, where the management team there went through a brief training with me on how to recognize the signs and symptoms that they may spot in their team members if they are struggling, and how then to support those team members and get them through, get them feeling well again, and getting them back on their feet and functioning better. So if you are an organization and you would like one of those talks, equally there are my contact details there as well. I hope that's been helpful. You now know who I am, what services I offer, and a little bit about me and how I work. Feel free to visit the website. There are some online programs for sale there. One is a lengthy 7-module program on stress management. So if stress is your big issue, which is often related, then it's a program that you can purchase and download for yourself or for a team member if you're an HR department or a manager. And they then download that onto their computer, and it's theirs to do at their own pace and to revisit whenever they need to. It's at least a 7-week program, if not more, so just leaving big gaps in between each module to work on and practice all of the techniques, to build on them, and then revisit the program and do the second or the third or whatever module it is, and build on and grow your stress management techniques to banish it. So that is something that is there on the computer for any future use at any point, at your own pace, in the privacy of your own home or in the comfort of your own office, if one-to-one coaching doesn't feel right for you. So thank you so much for sticking with this and listening to the end, and I wish you all well and good health. But if not, you know where you can find me. Please feel free at any point just to make contact. Okay, take care now. Thank you for listening.